kid yelling roll coal. Diesel trucks are heavy as heck and primarily they're made to tow, but with some extra steps, they can perform just as well as any other vehicle in the sand. I'm here to give you a few tips that I've learned from my own experiences of getting stuck to help prevent you from doing the same. The first thing everyone goes straight for is airing down the tires. While this can help, it's not always necessary and it takes a lot of time. I do recommend for your first times out in the sand with your truck, go ahead and air down your tires to about 20 to 22 pounds front and rear just to see how your truck performs. If you get out there and your truck seems to be having a super easy time, you might be able to get away without airing down. Some beaches are harder packed than others, so it really depends on your specific situation. It takes about 20 minutes to air your tires down to these pressures, so just know that it's going to take you a while. This is why I don't air down if I don't have to. Give it a try your first time out and progress from there to determine what air pressure works best for you. Next up is something that I really didn't know the first time I went out in the sand, and I figured out it was going to be a problem real quick. Make sure your traction control system is completely turned off. Some traction control systems have a two-step process, just like my 2011 F250. If you hit the button just once, it only disables part of the traction control system, and when you start slipping in the sand, the system will still reduce power, only making your issues worse. On my truck, you have to hold the traction control button down for about 7 seconds to cut the system completely off. Look in your own truck's owner's manual or on Google and see what it takes to cut your traction control system totally off. Alright, tip number 3. There are some select situations when you want to manually control what gear your truck is in, and in the sand is definitely one of those situations. When driving in the sand, keep your truck in your lowest gears. These diesels love to chug, but you will get much better low traction performance with the truck in first and sometimes second gear. I always keep my truck in first gear and I'll manually shift it to second if the sand gets really smooth on maybe a crossover sand road or some situation such as that. On the beach though, first gear keeps me rolling between 10 to 12 miles per hour. With the RPMs and a little bit higher, the truck performs way better. I can tell you that you will notice a huge difference here and I highly recommend giving this method a try. Let's talk about throttle control for a second. The only time you should really be giving the truck a good amount of juice is when you want to switch lines in the sand, whether it be to pass someone else or maybe miss a bad spot on your sand road or beach situation. In order to do this, you need to go ahead and steer into the direction you want to go and give the truck a good, solid, quick burst of gas to get the truck to pull itself up and out of the rut. If you don't give the truck some gas when you start turning, most likely it's just going to turn the wheels into the rut and the truck's just going to keep pushing straight. Give it a try when you get out there so you're ready when you actually have to perform this maneuver. When somebody gets stuck in your line or somebody's parked in front of you, you need to be able to get around these people with ease. So on the other side of throttle control is when you feel yourself in a situation where the truck is starting to get stuck. Do not go hard into the gas thinking that you're going to get the truck out with more RPMs. Yeah, it might sound good, but this leads to extreme wheel hop, which doesn't help and absolutely leads to breaking parts. In addition, gassing the truck hard is just going to dig your truck deeper, let me tell you from experience. If you feel yourself starting getting stuck, make sure the traction control is completely off. Air down if you haven't yet. Go easy and smooth on the throttle and try to let the tires do the work to get the truck out. Do not bury your truck to the frame trying to beast it out of a hole. It's not going to happen and it's going to make it that much harder for somebody to try to get you out. Alright, the last tip I've got for you is when you're picking a spot to park your truck on the beach. You want to pay very close attention to where you're going to stop and leave your truck. First off, look at the spot where you want to park and make sure it's not going to set you up for a total failure in your departure. Always park somewhere as close to flat as possible or maybe even with a little bit of decline. Don't ever park too close to the water line. The tide could be coming in and the water could get to your truck, resulting in an extremely bad situation. Know what the tides are doing and plan accordingly. If the tide is coming in, make sure you're going to have plenty of room for that water line to come up. Take an extra moment to plan your parking spot so when you're tired and it's time to get out of there, you don't have any issues. Alright, now go out there and have some fun. Driving in the sand can be a blast, but getting stuck sucks, so I hope this prevents that from happening for you. I'll be the first to tell you, I've definitely been there. It's a story one day, but at the moment, it really ain't much fun. Y'all have a good time. See ya.
And that's a wrap.